Fragmented Perspectives, Fragmented Finance, a case study on Brazil's Adaptation Challenge. In its latest nationally determined contribution to the Paris Agreement, Brazil recognizes that, among other measures, it needs to expand financing, reducing the cost of credit, and improving guarantee and insurance mechanisms for sustainable sectors in order to achieve its climate goals. However, it needs to do so under a scenario of low savings, high public debt, high real interest rates, and heavy reliance on credit markets. Cognizant of this challenging scenario, the Center for Sustainability Studies at FGV has conducted an exploratory study following an inductive approach to explore themes and ideas for unlocking private finance for adaptation in Brazil. According to perspectives from governmental sources, financial sector representatives, and businesses engaging in adaptation efforts. The governmental perspective is seen through the update to the country National Adaptation Plan, which recognizes financing as one of the main bottlenecks for adaptation measures, sees the state as having a catalytic role through regulation and resources provision, and lists 44 actions related to finance and investment across thematic groups such as rural credit, insurance, public funds, research and innovation, PPPs, and economic instruments. Interviews with representatives from financial institutions revealed three main barriers for private adaptation finance in Brazil. First, there is a structural bottleneck with a lack of signals or incentives from public policies. Second, a financial logic barrier with unclear or unknown returns of adaptation investments. And third, an implementation barrier with capacity gaps, especially among small producers and entrepreneurs. Climate change adaptation is not a challenge faced in isolation by individual firms. It is a systemic issue that reverberates across entire value chains. Taking the views of large companies as a starting point, we can see that they invest in adaptation when it aligns with risk or business strategy, focus on operational continuity, need long-term flexible financing, face the lack of a clear taxonomy and climate information, and expect enabling rules but don't wait for public action. By comparing the three perspectives, we can better understand their differing assumptions, priorities, and expectations, as well as clarify the misalignments that currently hinder the mobilization of private finance for adaptation in Brazil. The governmental perspective is normative and assumes that the main problem lies in the lack of financial instruments and political coordination. Financial institutions have a pragmatic point of view focused on the lack of well-structured adaptation projects, reliable data, and risk perception from the real economy. Large businesses have a risk-oriented approach focused on integrating climate resilience into existing risk management and investment strategies, often bypassing the adaptation label. In conclusion, the research revealed a fundamental misalignment between the different actors involved in climate adaptation finance in Brazil, with different definitions, solutions, and expectations about the government's role. Without a shared understanding of what the problem is, and without convergence on feasible and acceptable solutions, actors struggle to build coalitions or advance reforms. Instead, there is a proliferation of disconnected initiatives, some focused on social vulnerability, others on financial innovation, that fail to address the systemic nature of the challenge. For more, please refer to the technical paper Fragmented Perspectives, Fragmented Finance, a case study on Brazil's Adaptation Challenge. Thank you.